Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The West of the Story. As many of you know, this is week one of the high school football season, Friday Night Lights, as it is called by many. Curiously, though, how many of you know where the first night high school game was played? What state was it played in? Was it played in Texas, Florida, California? The answer is no, no, and no. Well, then who and where? In a state that has not had a blue chip athlete in quite some time, names like Taven Bryan and Logan Wilson may turn some people's heads, but the location of history will probably do more than that. As the Wyoming Cowboys were losing to the Utah Utes on Wednesday, November the 18th, just 188.6 miles north from Laramie, where the University of Wyoming is located, history was planning to be made roughly 24 hours later. For most of the residents and visitors in Wyoming, the town of Midwest is nothing more than an exit sign on Interstate 25 between Buffalo and Casper. But the tiny town created during the oil boom of the early 20th century has a little known claim to fame. It was the location of the very first high school football game played at night under electric lights. Ironically, even though we call it Friday Night Lights now, November 19th, 1925 was a Thursday night, said Phil LeMater, a Midwest native and author who has written a series of novels based on his experiences growing up near the Salt Creek oil field. The Midwest Oil and Refining Company, which was one of the major players in the Salt Creek field, brought in the lights. They thought it was a novelty thing, LeMater told Cowboy State Daily, and they set up a game between Midwest and Casper. The feeling was that the nighttime games would draw more of a crowd from the oil field, from oil field workers in the area, and perhaps even people from Casper, which it did. But I'm ashamed to say that Midwest didn't even score a point that night, LeMater said. Casper beat them 20 to nothing. By the mid 1920s, college football had begun experimenting with artificial lighting, but no high schools had attempted the technology until the Midwest Oil Company provided the means to hold games at a time when more of the local oilfield workers and families could attend. Midwest has had to fight for its claim as the location of the first night high school football game. Residents in Westville, Illinois have put up a sign claiming that in 1928 the nation's first lighted high school game was played there in a game against nearby Milford. But Midwest's night game was held 3 years before the Illinois game and a full 4 years before the first professional night game. Between 400 and 1,000 people turned out for the game, braving the freezing cold weather. For the football game, Midwest Refinery Company electricians set up 12 floodlights of 1,000 candle power each around the field, four more of 2,000 candle power, and from the top of an oil derrick near the field, a huge searchlight swung its beam over the players in the crowd, wrote historian Tom Ree in his blog post on wyohistory.org. The Salt Creek Museum in Midwest has the football that was used in that first lighted football game, LeMater said, and it was a white football. And now you know the Midwest of the story.